Welcome to Quantum Coffee. I'm Dr. Nicole.
And I'm Reverend Stephanie.
And today
we're talking about red flags, patterns, and lessons.
I forgot our red flags.
That's okay. We don't need the red flags.
We don't need
today.
red flags.
So, how this shows up with friends and work. I forgot that part. So red flags, patterns, and lessons, and how it shows up in friendships and how it shows up at work. Romantic relationships. So personal and professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we jump into how we see this in our energy and professionally, I think we should define what qualifies as a red flag. We all have a different definition, right?
Right. So that is something that you and I had talked about previously, is that the definition of a red flag is also a little intermingled with your love language.
Okay.
So something that I might enjoy, silence, just sitting on the couch with my partner, with my friends, just being in their presence, quality time, might not be something that you enjoy. That could be a red flag for you because you want interaction, you want conversation, which is also considered quality time for you, but it shows up differently,
okay.
Right? So I could just really enjoy space and silence where you are like, no, I need that interaction. So the red flags depend when it comes to personal relationships. The red flags truly depend on you as a person and what you want to bring in, what complements you as a person, right?
Yeah.
So the other part I want to mention, and this is something I've been talking about a lot, is when we talk about love languages, it's not only how we receive love, but it's also how we give love.
Right.
So we have to look at the red flags from all of those angles, from all of those perspectives. So exactly that. You can't just define a red flag as someone who isn't texting you back.
Right.
Because my husband is a horrible, horrible texter.
Okay.
But I know that he loves the shit out of me. He is
Right.
a green flag man all through with other things.
Right.
So you can't just pinpoint and make a checklist of
And say, okay, we're getting divorced because you don't text me back.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this something that you guys have like openly had conversations about, like maybe lighthearted, like, hey, you suck at texting? And he's like, yeah, I know, my bad.
I mean, that's the exact conversation.
Okay. So I've never been a part of this conversation. As a disclaimer, I was just kind of like, hypothetically.
Yeah. Right. So communication is still very important in any relationship, especially when you're dealing with flags, right? You need to feel safe to have your level of conversation.
Okay.
And again, your level of conversation. If you don't feel safe, here's the interesting part, that still might not be a red flag.
Okay.
Because your level of feeling safe could also be your trauma. It could be a trauma response. It could be a trigger. And so that's why when people talk about red flags, yes, of course, there are some obvious red flags. Like I just watched something on social media where the guy picked her up for a date and then did some really inappropriate stuff. And yeah, okay, I'm not going to repeat it. Go watch social media. You'll see it all over the place. Of course, those are red flags.
Right.
And of course, you have to get out of your way to understand, like, this isn't getting better.
Right. And I think those are the red flags that everybody thinks of when we say red flag, right? Like the big scary things. And we're talking about more of like the subtle, silent red flags.
Exactly.
Right? That aren't so blaringly obvious. But I do really love that you brought up not only when you're receiving, but what you're giving, because I don't think people talk about that part of the love language enough.
Right.
We're so focused on what we get versus what we give. Right.
Right.
Because we're selfish. Humans are selfish. They're obsessed with their own ego. And so what do I get? Me. Right. And we don't take a minute to consider what's comfortable for us when we give.
Right.
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 And that's just as important, because if I need words of affirmation, but it's uncomfortable for you to give that, I also need to take that into consideration too, right? If it's awkward, right? And you're just like, oh, you look great today. And I'm like, well, that wasn't sincere.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Because my gift, my love language, my giving love language could be doing the dishes for you.
Right.
But telling you look great every day
Is hard.
Is hard.
Right.
But look what I'm doing. I'm cooking. I'm doing the dishes. I'm
Right.
taking out the trash. My giving language is acts of service. I'm not great at saying things, but I'm showing you.
Right.
So yeah, that's a huge missed part of relationships, personal relationships. And I imagine in the workplace too.
Correct.
That those lines of communication are often misinterpreted because people don't make space for each other.
Right.
They are in their bubble. And so many times, and I'm definitely, a person who has done this in the past, but we think, well, if I can do it, why can't you?
Right.
If I'm capable, why can't you? I remember when I, 20 years ago, got like teacher of the year, and I was like, they don't know who they're giving that to. Like, and I literally was like, there's no way that I could be teacher of the year. But in regards to like, everybody can do what I do. So it was still a very selfish thought.
You didn't think that you were doing anything that was extraordinary enough to earn that recognition.
Right. But
that you were just doing your job that everyone should be doing. Right.
Yeah. So I didn't see, and I think when it comes to relationships and everything in the workplace, also, however you're operating, you project onto everyone else.
Correct.
This is how I operate. So
you need to do the same thing.
Operate this way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when we look at it from a work perspective, we just automatically, again, we're selfish, right?
Yeah.
So this kind of relates to the love languages, where we, ego-driven humans, believe that, okay, if I can do these things at this speed, at this level, at, all of that everybody else should be able to do it too. That is common knowledge, right? And we don't take into perspective like different personalities, different learning styles, different communication styles, just different levels of comfortability, right? And we don't factor all of those human things into our focus. And so that's where a lot of work conflict comes in. So, if you and I are doing the exact same job and I'm like plowing through all of my projects, right, at lightning speed because it's easy for me, and you're over there, you're doing a great job, but you go at a slower pace. Like you take more time to do background and research because you're not comfortable with the material, right?
Yeah.
Now you're sitting there going, okay, why am I not as fast as her? What am I doing wrong? Right. And I'm looking at it going, why is she so slow?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. We're both doing the same thing, same quality of work, just at different speeds, different levels, right? And we start to look at it from that way and build these little resentments, right? So now all of a sudden, because she's slow, now you're a red flag in my mind.
Right.
Like, so she's doing something wrong. She's screwing around. Is she on her phone? Is she distracted? Absolutely not. She takes a different approach to do exactly what I'm doing, but it's really not a red flag. In my mind, it is.
Right.
But it's not, right? So when we were talking before we started our recording, she's coming at it from more of like internal red flags.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it more of like the external portion of it, like the output, right? So, and that also shows in our relationships, dating, marriages, friendships, those types of things where, aside from like the big scary red flags, right? So like, what if, as a friend, you are one of those people that kind of dips out on me when we have plans. Like,
I'm totally that person also.
She doesn't do it with me.
No, I don't.
She actually, funny enough. So we're just going to digress for a hot second here. So one of the first couple of times that we hung out, she actually said to me, she goes, I just want to tell you, thank you for not canceling on me. And I was like, what? She goes, well, I naturally just go to cancel plans. And if you would have said, hey, it's okay, we don't have to go, I would have been totally cool with that. But you were like, nope, we're going. So I kind of pushed her into what our original plan was and hanging out, which thank God I did.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have gotten to like brainstorm and sit together and come up with crazy ideas such as a podcast. But, being that, right, like, that you just all of a sudden last minute panic, right? And you're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be comfortable doing that. And it's not you trying to intentionally hurt people. It's you trying to protect yourself.
Right. All the things. Right. So I love everything that you just said, because from an energy perspective, what is happening is very internal. And if you take my trauma response, my triggers, my insecurities, personally, I mean, you're going to see red flags before 2026, because this has been my mission of 2026, to not cancel plans, to be more exposed, to be out there,
And she ended up with me.
Right. So yes, I mean, you doing that was exactly what I needed, and, full circle. But what I wanted to bring up was that in that dynamic of relation, right? We're in relation to each other, personally or professionally. Internally, what you have to do is be comfortable enough with yourself. So there's this dual dynamic going on where, yes, you don't want to be in your bubble and think everybody should operate the way you're operating. Right. But also, you should be enough in your bubble to understand that your operation is okay. And that whatever they're doing in their operation is also okay.
Right.
So when you are okay with you can genuinely build happiness and confidence and security and safety within yourself.
Correct.
And then that translates into, let me understand you.
Right.
Instead of let me project onto you, let me judge you, let me label red flags all over you. Here's some stickers of redness.
Right.
It allows me then to say, okay, let me understand this person.
Correct.
Because I understand me.
Yes.
But damn it, I did it. Anyway.
She didn't mean to hit the microphone.
I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. But when we don't fully understand ourselves, it's almost scary to then venture into trying to understand other people.
Right.
Because our nervous system is like, no. You don't fully get you. How can you fully get somebody else?
Making you the red flag.
Making you the red flag.
Yeah.
Yes. But you're not getting that.
Right. You're seeing everyone else's red flags and it's actually you.
Right, because you don't want to.
Right,
totally, because you don't want to.
Right.
That is also a scary place. I think I've shared maybe here or just with you that I have encountered, because what I do is shadow work. I help people see their own vibration, their own reality. I help them go inside deeply so that they can be okay with every part of who they are, including the part that goes, oh, I'm scared. I want to bail. I help them balance that out so that they can go, okay, I'm scared, but this is a really great opportunity to meet a really great person. And then go back, and balance those energies out. I lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was going.
You were on the acknowledgement train, just acknowledging yourself, like you as a human.
The shadow work.
Yes.
Right. I don't know how
back on the train.
I don't know how I fell off. Anyway,
I got thrown from the train.
It's fine. I just fell.
Okay. And this is why we were so serious for so long.
We were doing really good. Okay. Shadow work. So many people, and not my clients, not the ones who I have one-on-one conversations with, but people who just hear shadow work and don't understand that is going deep internal. They're like, that's evil.
I was going to say, they think that you're like summoning demons.
They think I'm summoning demons, which I am. It's just you're the demon. There's parts of you
what
inside.
If you frame it in like,
I don't
Peter Pan. Peter Pan like had a whole conversation with the shadow, right? Like his shadow was a separate being from himself. That wasn't scary.
Right. That's a good way to look at it.
And he cut the shadow off and like tried to run away from his shadow, and then he had to sew it back on.
Okay.
Watch a Disney movie.
No. Peter Pan. Here's one of those moments. No, I get it.
Okay.
The cartoon. But so growing up, my mother always called me Tinkerbell.
Oh,
And growing up, my husband's family always called him Peter Pan, but we didn't meet until we were adults. So I'm just like a little throwing back that, yes, of course I have to use that as a reference now, but I've never told you that story. So I'm just kind of like, oh, look at that fucking.
I'm psychic like that. It's cool.
She did my job for me, which is amazing.
Amazing.
But I do love that analogy. I was actually stunned a little bit that you used that one of all the things that you could say. Yes, I love it. And I will translate that. But still, just thinking people don't understand, even when I explain to them that it is bringing the subconscious and the unconscious up to the surface,
Right.
they still don't get it.
Right.
They're like, what does that mean? And
It's a
they
lot
get
for people
scared.
to process.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to dig some stuff out of there that like I don't even know about?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
But it's so
But
liberating.
it's scary.
It is scary.
It's very scary thing.
scary.
Like, I obviously like packed that away in a cabinet back here somewhere for a reason.
Right.
And you're going to open the cabinet. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to clean it out. And then you're going to have all this space to get new things. And it's going to
Feng
be
shui.
Yeah, and it's going to be so beautiful. I'm just telling you, like, it is absolutely worth it. And if I could give you my own story as reference, the first book I ever wrote is called The Beast. I don't know if we've talked about this on the podcast before yet, but it is all about my childhood trauma and how I went into my first marriage, reenacting and projecting my childhood trauma,
Right.
not being able to see him for who he was, trying to put roles on us and shoulda, woulda, couldas and all that stuff. And he was dealing with his own demons. I was dealing with my demons. We crashed and burned.
Your demons didn't play well together. Anyway,
Filtering thoughts.
please hold.
Gotta get back on the train.
Okay, we're back on the train now.
Okay. So there is so much that you just did with that one line in my body. So that's here. Let's go to that.
Sorry.
Anyway, if you had seen the person that I was then, when that book came out at 40 years old, then this decade that has just passed, this and now being 50, and the transformation that I made and what I had to dig down deep inside of myself to see my role in that relationship
And take accountability.
and
for
take
certain
accountability, or I could never have arrived at this beautiful
place. Yeah.
place with this beautiful man in this amazing relationship. And I could have never arrived at the place where yesterday I had a beautiful conversation with my ex-husband. I didn't talk to him for almost a decade.
Right.
And now we have great conversation.
Right.
But I want to go back to what you did with that sentence. So, and this is some of the things that I teach with the energy.
Okay.
And I wonder, after I say this, if you see this in the workplace. This will be interesting.
Okay.
So what you did is you said something in my body, and there was an unbeknownst, chord that you hit. So just like a harp, there was a chord that I didn't know existed somewhere inside of me.
Right.
That phrase absolutely vibrated.
Okay. Like vibrated scary or like a aha.
It was, so here's, love your question. It wasn't even conscious.
Okay.
So I don't know what the thought or the emotion that is connected to that chord yet is.
Okay.
It was purely energetic and purely physical. So my body went into freeze,
Okay.
which is why you saw me a little stunned.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't, so this is part of shadow work. I haven't explored that frequency because
Okay.
I didn't even know it existed. But now that you said that,
Now you're gonna
and now that I
into
have
it
some
later.
reference of our demons didn't play well together, that's the only reference I have. That's the only
Right.
thing that triggered that chord inside of me and made it vibrate from my head to my toe. Now, I don't have a fear attached to it.
Right.
I don't have happiness attached to it. At the moment, it's simply just a
Acknowledging.
phrase and an acknowledgement, like,
Okay.
oh, there's something there. So that's how you start. So my question to you is, because that's such a personal thing, right?
Right.
And that's a one-on-one thing that I get to do.
Mhm.
But you're sitting there with corporations and you have to
Correct.
essentially see those chords in action and see that. So what would that look like in a corporate?
So when you're looking at it from a psychological perspective, so if I was to say, like, if I have two individuals that, let's say they don't work well together, right? I need them to work together. They're on the same team or whatever the case may be, or one reports to the other. And we'll say same phrase, right? Their demons don't play well together.
Yeah. Such a good phrase.
Make
out a t-shirt. Sorry.
She's gonna have a new coffee mug. But we start to look at the why. Like, I'm not gonna deep dive into your trauma past, right? But we're talking from a work standpoint, like an education, an experience background, a work, your work ethic.
Yeah.
Right. So why do they not play well together? So what are the pros and cons of this individual? What are the pros and cons of this individual, right? So we're looking at it from a performance standpoint. So, easiest one would be like, this person is very punctual with, coming to work, their deadlines, like all of those types of things. They take it very seriously. And this person's kind of loosey-goosey, right? So you can understand very, very easily, like, where they butt heads, right? Because this person's still getting stuff done, but at a frolic around pace. And this person's like, nope. Like their calendar is time blocked, like every 20 minutes, like this, and this. They're so meticulously organized.
Yeah.
And this person's just doing their own jam. So that's an easy fix, right? Where we would just go in and we're going to talk to both of the people. They're clearly having conflict over something silly, like everybody's getting everything done.
Right.
But this person doesn't agree with this person's lacks. And this person doesn't understand why they're so anal retentive about their calendar, right?
Operations.
Right. Like, that's just how they function. And so just sitting them down and saying, hey, like, you're both getting the same projects. You're both getting the things done on time. You go at different speeds. You have your different methodology, and that's okay, right? And just kind of opening the door for that conversation and acknowledging that it exists, right? Like, there isn't one way.
Right.
There isn't one way.
Right.
And if it's working, it's working. That's great. And we can respect each other's differences of how we get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And maybe this person is going to look at this person's schedule and go, hey, you know what? I could use a little bit of organization, right? Like, show me how you work through this. And this person's like, yeah, maybe I should just like let go a little bit because I'm a little crazy on my schedule. And they start to loosen up a little bit and find that like they can finally go, right? Because if you're overly organized, you're like, oh, you're white knuckling life.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you're always thinking like, okay, I got to get this done by this time and this done by this time. Right. And you're going. And you don't ever allow yourself to take a breath, where it looks like this person, all they're doing is just laying on the beach. Yeah. Right. So that's an easy one to assess. When we're looking at communication styles. So we had talked about this in another episode where like we read text messages based on our attitude at that point, right? So if I'm already on like level 100 today, like, I dropped my coffee, my dog got out, like all these things, right? Like nothing's going right. And she texts me, and it may be a simple text of like, hey, a thumbs up emoji, which is, we'll talk about that later, but anyways, that's a me thing. And I'm like, why is she flipping me off? Right? Like, I'm like, what the? And so my next text to her is, why are you being an asshole? And she's like, I just said, okay. That's on me. Right? So, but that's her communication versus my communication. And so this is where it comes up like all the time when we're talking about work is, this person came in and they were really mean. They were really aggressive when they were talking to me. My daughter, bless her heart, she does this all the time. She will come home from work and she's like, my boss was really mean today. And everybody was really, are they being mean? Or was it you walking in with kind of a negative attitude today? And you're just like, you're consuming that as negativity.
Right.
Like you're
right. So I have questions, comments, not really concerns.
Points of interest.
Yeah.
Anyways. Question.
Okay. So this is beautiful because it totally gets to patterns. It gets to red flags. It gets to relationships in general. And one of the things that I try to teach my clients is that when you're operating on this extreme and this person's operating on this extreme, are we trying to compromise? Now, don't answer that yet. Are we trying to see the other person's perspective? Don't answer that yet. Are we trying to fix ourselves? Don't answer that yet. Now, why I'm bringing all of that up is because my answer in the personal relationships is you're not trying to do anything different than what feels natural to you on both sides, right? But I also always see the energy of if this person is operating too far to one extreme, very, very organized, then they've actually leaned into an overproduction of that energy.
Correct.
And so now it's becoming poisonous to their own system.
But they don't see it.
Right. Now, this person who's operating to the extreme of, whatever, man, you know, they're also operating to an overproduction of laid backness, which has now become poisonous in their own system.
But they don't see it.
So I always try to, and the reason why I said don't answer that yet is because it's very typical for people to go to those, well, do I have to compromise? Do I have to change who I am? Do I have to?
No.
No, you're actually taking your beautiful essence as it is and balancing it out. So that it can operate with the other essences around you. So you're not abandoning yourself.
No.
You're not compromising for somebody else, but you're recognizing maybe you're leaning a little bit too far into this survival mode.
Correct.
And for both of them.
Yep.
So you need to both. And that's why when we're leaning too far into our survival modes, that's why it's irritating for us
To see the other one.
Yep. Because that's the part when they say, well, you hate in that person what you hate in yourself. Yeah, that's because you're leaning too far into survival mode. And that other side of your personality is scary because to you, somewhere internally, that other side is the side that got hurt.
Right.
So you've leaned all the way into this survival mode, whether it being, I'm just going to do my work from the beach, man, or I'm going to be there on time. I'm not going to wear a suit. I'm going to fucking do it. You see what I'm saying?
So like on a practical level, like let's make a fake human. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say I go through the first half of my life and I am very focused on getting straight A's and doing all the right things and getting into the right school and getting the right job and the right partner and living in the right suburb and driving the right car. Right.
I'm Brittany, bitch.
Fucking Brittany, bitch. So I do all of these things to satisfy this invisible checklist that was created somewhere in my being, whether it was from my parents or me watching something on TV, having FOMO about somebody else's life, right? Like I want that life. And so I go through this whole thing. And so now I've accomplished all these things, right? So now all of a sudden I get to a point where like, all right, I got it all. I did everything. I checked every single box. Perfect. But I'm not happy. And all of a sudden my kids aren't happy. My boss isn't happy with my work. My spouse hates me.
Right.
We have no relationship. Right. And so now all of a sudden, like, whew, we cut that life. Right. Yeah. And we go into a complete opposite because in our mind, now that was the problem.
Right.
So now I go into, I'm just going to go live at the beach and sell seashells by the seashore.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to have a real job. I don't need a car. I don't need to do any of these things. Like, and I go to the other extreme and it's fun for a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm still not happy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at all of my old friends in the suburbs and now I'm like, oh, I need that back. What I didn't realize in my two very extreme versions of myself is that I got to meet here.
Right. Absolutely.
I somehow got to find a balance of like, these are the things that I truly wanted. Right. But I was gripping it so tightly.
Right.
And strangling everyone around me. And this one, I just said, fuck everyone.
Right, because that hurt too much. That hurt me. So
Right.
now I'm going to lean into the exact opposite on an extremity.
Right.
And that's also going to hurt. And then sometimes it is really hard to look in the mirror and say, wait a second, I actually did abandon myself. I abandoned me because of my experience that I needed to control the outcome.
Right.
So
coming back to it is just like accepting both versions of yourself.
Yeah.
And that wasn't really you. But
Right.
who is the real you?
Right.
Right. Like
yeah,
you red flagged yourself over here. Right.
yeah,
So like, let's bring it into the middle.
right. Without judging yourself.
Right. Like,
Because it's okay. We all
those are learning lessons
Yeah.
and it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine. It is, if you don't learn from it, then it's not fine. Right.
right.
If you're still over here just like, meh.
Well, and then that's you pretending that you're not.
Right.
Is it me? Am I?
It's a lot of, I mean, all these things are all about self-awareness, right?
That's exactly
like
right.
when we look at other people, what we cast as like, that's a red flag. Like, is it,
Right.
or is it something that we have to dig down? Right.
Right. Right.
Again, not talking about the extreme red flags, but
Right. Right.
just
right,
like
right.
the little things, you know, like the quirky little things that we're like, oh, I don't want to hang out with that person because of this. Like
The worst
Why?
person I ever dated, honestly, was the most chivalrous.
really,
Opened the doors, did all the traditional chivalry things that actually made me feel very uncomfortable because
why was he the worst?
Oh, he was.
Or do we not want to talk about that?
I mean, trigger warning, he beat the shit out of me.
Okay.
But he,
So he put on a front
yeah.
for everyone else to mask.
Right. And in our few couple of dates, you know, the love bombing was, again, very subtle. It wasn't extreme love bombing. The catch and
To where it was like, oh God, I gotta go.
Right. Like, oh,
Okay.
he's asked me to marry him on the second date.
Right,
Maybe
right.
this is a red flag. It wasn't like that.
Right.
The catch and release was also really subtle, which means you get it. Anyway, everything.
Tell them.
Showing up and then disappearing, showing up and then disappearing. It wasn't so extreme where it was like, did he ghost me? It was
I was
subtle.
busy at work.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I wasn't in a place where I was hovering. So those subtleties were really hard to notice.
Right.
The red flags were really hard to notice because they didn't show up typically, but what did show up was a monster.
Okay.
Right.
So he was really good at it.
So
Red flag craft.
right. But I'm
Okay.
trying to remember why I brought this up because you said, I know. Fucking shit, son of a bitch. You said, God damn it, it's right there. On the
You gotta
tongue.
self-awareness. That's what I was talking about. Was self-awareness.
I know, but then you said,
Wow.
we're gonna pause for a second.
Time out.
We're gonna edit this one out. So it was about my red flags not being your red flag.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And what I need, right? And so here's the thing. Here's the kicker. This is what I was getting at. Is that his chivalry and all of that stuff in the beginning that seemed really green flaggish
Mm-hmm.
felt really uncomfortable. And I felt it in my nervous system that something was off. And it wasn't
Right.
until he was living with me and we were dating for 2 years that
Okay.
the aggression, the assault, the anger showed up. So it was a subtle thing. The love of my life
Was a red flag that turned into a green?
It's like, oh shit, did the door just fucking hit you? I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay, boys. I got it. It's fine. But he's not doing it to be a dick. Like, he genuinely just is like not used to
Right.
having a fucking relationship. He's just might be a little autistic. We're not sure.
They call that a touch of the tism.
Seriously, though. So again, these
Which,
are,
by the way, I was not being mean. I feel like everybody's got a touch of the tism.
right, and
Embrace it. Embrace it as a superpower.
it is a superpower.
Anyway.
So another conversation. Those are my favorite people, by the way, obviously, because I'm married one, and he's my favorite.
She's best friends with me.
Right, exactly. So he's not a red flag, even though someone might be like, Oh, for example, let me give you this one. We're at a restaurant with our friends, and he's a double tourist, so this man loves food. So when they were like, "Oh, you go up to the," it was a Brazilian steakhouse, so it's that thing where you get things that aren't meat, the buffet, right? Is that
Salad bar?
Salad bar.
So charades. It sounds like okay. But you went to the salad bar.
And there was four of us at the table. He just gets up and like fucking hauls ass. And the other two couple are like walking side by side, hold it in hands. And I'm like in the back and they just look at me and I'm like, the fan is hungry, okay?
Don't get in his way.
But like if this was a typical like social media influencer complaining, they'd be like, and he didn't even wait for me. But the person that did wait for me before this relationship also beat the shit out of me.
Right.
So that's where I was going with all of this.
Right.
Is that no, the red flags are not screaming in your face always. And the red flags are also not always typical behaviors that they like to,
They're unique to you. That I think that's the biggest point that people don't.
It took me a long time to get there.
That's okay, we got there.
Okay.
But your train finally arrived at destination. But you know, when we play around on social media and we're on TikTok and doom scrolling, right? And everybody's talking about red flags and watch for this and watch for this and XYZ. Like also take into consideration that your red flags are very unique to you as a human, your past experiences, and what you're holding. Right. And so what she was just saying is her red flags are not the same as mine.
Right.
And vice versa, where she might meet somebody and be like, oh, like, they're so much fun.
Right.
You know? And that's and it's okay. It's absolutely okay. Same thing with work, right? Like I can go in and I can think that this person that everybody hates is the greatest human employee ever, right? Because I look at it from a different perspective than you do, right? Like if you're working side by side and you're like, oh my God, they're so annoying. They like wiggle back and forth in their chair all day and they're like, and, you know, they slurp their coffee, whatever it may be. Like you're seeing those things and those are triggering for you. Where I'm coming at it and I'm like, this person is hilarious. They're super positive. They get their work done, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like all these other factors that are important to me. Right. So that's where we kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt, so to speak. Right. And not just like classify and be like, hey, you're not going to like that person because I don't like that person. Like,
oh, that's the worst.
Form your own opinion. Like we can be friends, but we don't have to have all the same humans in our circles. Right. And it's okay. It's absolutely okay. You know, like, I don't know who she hangs out with when she's not hanging out with me. No idea.
Yeah,
but she doesn't know who I'm hanging out with either. You know, like we're just kind of floating, like doing our own thing. But then when we hang out, we have a great time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So just acknowledge your own red flags.
Yeah, that's yeah.
She's all ding, light bulb. If we had an editor, this is where the light bulb would just like pop up above her head, like the cartoon, like oh god damn. Anyway,
yes, that's what I got.
That's what I got for today, people.
No, that's perfect. When we're dealing with red flags, patterns, and lessons, you have to acknowledge your red flags first. You have to see your patterns first. That's where the lessons come in, and then. Man, those relationships, they get so good. And they can get so good with people who you once deemed as so toxic. That can completely transform. And they did nothing. You did it all yourself. And you changed your perspective.
I can't tell you how many times that I've like become really good friends with people in a workplace that initially, like my first impression, I was like, oh, I don't like that person, you know?
Yeah.
Because you listen to all these other people and they're like, oh, that person's an asshole, right? And I'm guilty of like being the person that just goes up and has a random conversation and like, la, 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 like frolics in. Sorry about being a psychologist, but that's what I do, right? Like, I want to pick your brain. Like, I want to understand, like, okay, is this person really an asshole?
Right. Or
Like,
just misunderstood.
Right. Are they having a bad day? Like, is this who they are as a human to their core, or
Right.
like what is going on? And so I'm the one that initiates those really awkward conversations because I want to know who you are, right? I want to understand your background, where you came from, how did you get here, what do you love? And when you start asking people those questions, like, what do you love? They get excited.
Yeah.
So even the crabbiest jerk on the planet, when you ask and you truly sit and listen, you're going to see a completely different human, right? Because they're like, oh, they care. They want to know who I am.
Yeah.
And when people are talking about their hobbies and their passions, they get excited, right? They're like little kids and they will share everything with you. And then you develop this bond with them because nobody else took the time.
Right. Right. They're just judging their operations.
And
really,
9 times out of 10, like the reason why they portray themselves as the crabby asshole at work is maybe there's so much pressure on them, in their personal life to do good at this job. Maybe they're a single parent.
Right.
Maybe somebody in their household is sick. Maybe they're going through something that they're not going to bring into the workplace. They keep it completely separate and they're there just to do their job.
Yeah.
And they don't want to have relationships, like not intimate relationships, but like working relationships with these people because they just don't have the capacity to do that because they're trying to do what they have to do to get back to this, right?
Oh yeah. When I was in my first marriage, my work was my happy place.
It was your outlet.
It was my outlet, but I could not go to a work outing outside of the hours of work because then I was marrying my happy place with my dark place.
Mm-hmm.
And the possibility of them seeing my sadness and my darkness and my struggle was too much for me to bear. So everything I did was
as your boss,
walls.
As your boss, here's what I'm going to think. Okay, well, she's my ass. She doesn't want to come hang out with us. Like, she doesn't want to be part of the team, right? Like, she's intentionally excluding herself from being a part of this and growing with us, right? That's not why she was doing it at all. She was protecting herself.
Yeah.
But I didn't take the time to sit there with her. Maybe she's going to tell me, maybe she's not going to tell me. Maybe it's going to take 6 months for her to feel comfortable enough to tell me, like, you know what? I'm not happy with my personal life. This is why, like, I can't come to these things because I can't merge my worlds.
Right.
It's nothing against anyone. I love my job. I love everybody I work with. I just can't combine those two things at this time.
I wouldn't. So there were like a few events that I did go to, and I didn't know how to have conversations with people.
Right.
Because it was like, I'm not teaching. I'm not in the education, like, comfort zone. So I'm not going to talk about my personal life. I'm not going to what I'm doing. It was so awkward. It was so uncomfortable.
Right.
Every single time was so uncomfortable.
But externally, you're giving off something else that everybody's making assumptions.
Oh, yeah.
So you're the red flag, right? You're the red flag because you're like, what is she doing? Like, why does she not want to be a part of our, like, inner circle?
Yeah.
Right.
That's genuinely how they felt.
But it wasn't that at all.
No.
You weren't hiding some, like, secret plot to take over the company or anything like that. It wasn't anything like that. It was you protecting what you thought you had to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I just
that was a very good example.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
You're welcome.
And I got there, like, I arrived really quickly.
What? The train showed up again.
And concise thought. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nailed it. All right. Well,
this is a great conversation.
It was a really good conversation. I feel like we were a lot more serious this time than we typically are, which is fantastic. See, we're growing.
We
see us growing.
We are, but it's so good. I
love it. It is.
No.
So we've also got some really good comments in our YouTube channel. So please keep doing that. If there's things that you would like us to talk about or deep dive a little bit more and have another episode,
we'll work on that in the scheduling.
Yes.
When we get to those questions.
Yes. So we're never going to coach in the comments. So just keep that in mind. You can email us in, ask questions, but we're not going to go down a rabbit hole and coach you inside of there. But we will definitely hit the topics that you're interested in, and love all the support and feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And enjoy the ride as we grow together, because this is something that I think we both genuinely are excited about.
Yes. So today we're going to do something a little different. So we have a reflection, and then Sassy Pants over here is going to have a reflection question for you.
Wait, am I Sassy Pants?
Yeah, you're Sassy Pants.
Oh.
So I'm going to do the reflection, and you're going to do the reflection question.
Oh, I love
You're going
it.
to be the question asker today.
Oh,
okay. So disregard me reading, because I definitely didn't memorize this. I'm not a professional actress, obviously, as we can tell. Anyways. Okay, so not every pattern is a spiritual lesson that you are meant to keep tolerating. Sometimes the lesson is the boundary. Sometimes the lesson is the exit. And sometimes the lesson is finally believing yourself for the first time.
I love that.
I know, right?
Yeah. So the reflection question is, where am I calling something growth when it may actually be Oh, I was just thinking about this today. Okay, let me start over. Where am I calling something growth when it may actually be me tolerating a pattern I already know? Think about that.
Think about that.
I was thinking about that today.
Also, comment on the video with your answer.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Anyways, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Mean it.
I love that she does that.